Chapter 6, Woodstock. The air is heavy with marijuana stench, sweet and skunky, and Lord knows what else. The three materialize behind a grand stage overlooking a sea of smoke, haze, and people in all stages of dress and undress. Disney is taken aback and exclaims, "My heavens, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. There must be hundreds of thousands of those hippies here. So many more than I could ever have imagined, and I thought San Francisco was overrun." He turns to Epia. "Where and why are we here?" Epia holds up the crystal and says, "This is a 3-day celebration. We are at the Woodstock Sound Festival in the Catskill Mountains, New York, August 16, 1969. The time is 1:50 a.m., and Joan Baez is playing her last 2 songs for the night." "You did say Joan Baez, yes?" He nods. "Thank you, Epia, yes. I did wish to see or hear a certain folk singer I had heard in the 60s before coming aboard as Heaven's creative director." Clemens is astounded. "If I'm correct, Walt, you asked, and so shall you receive, as the good book says." He sneaks a peek from backstage at the throng of amassed people. "Seems to be quite the cacophony assembled. In my day, there weren't ever that many in one place at any one time, compared to all those out here now, except maybe at a cold, dreary inauguration or two." "Crystal indicates over 400,000 in attendance," Epia announces. "Anything else you want to know?" Neither one says anything. They are simply in awe of the spectacle before them. Epia slides the crystal into the side pocket of a discarded dashiki left lying askew. Now adorning her person, it fits just right. For the first time, she has a recognizably total physical form. Miss Baez's hair is cropped short. She wears a light paisley print shift, skimming her 6-month pregnancy, a scarf wound around her neck. Guitar in hand, she's sitting on a stool addressing the audience. "For one of my last songs, it was first recorded in 1909. I'm certain you'll recognize it for its sweetness. Here goes." The melody of "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot" is instantly recognizable and directly humbles Clemens. He heard it first back then on an early Edison phonograph. "It's even better now than when I first heard it. How does she know?" Disney is confused. "How did she know what, Sam?" "How does she know it was a favorite of mine?" Rolling his eyes upward in mock anguish. "My God, man, not everything is about you. I heard her sing it and other Americana folk oldies many times. Now, don't get all snippy with me, Walt. I cannot help but remember how much Livy loved hearing it." His eyes moistening at the memory, he wipes his brow and blows his nose into a handkerchief he snatched from inside his coat pocket. "Mr. Disney, did you make his eyes water like rain?" "No, dear. It's showing his emotional connection to what he is hearing and remembering. You're too young yet to have such memories and feelings." "Oh, thank you for setting me straight, as they say." She smiles and winks. She is definitely gaining both vocabulary and experience, to the chagrin of her tutor, Sam. The three listen intently, becoming absorbed and singing along. Many in the audience are entranced, too, by the night's events. Joan ends with "We shall overcome," and the assembled multitude stands immediately. They wave their arms back and forth over their heads in unison. Walt and Sam are utterly mystified by the crowd's reaction. "I've got to ask," Disney inquires, "where did that song come from, and why is everyone standing up over it? I've never seen emotional connections like that ever, not even when my own theme song was played." He waits, a nervous fan, as Joan takes her bows and exits the stage toward them. The closer she gets, the more on edge Epia becomes. She feels around in her dashiki pocket, dismayed, and says urgently, "Mr. Disney, the crystal is making funny noises. I believe you are not to interfere with the timeline. Please, contain yourself." "I can't help it, honey. I must talk to her for a mere moment. What could possibly go wrong?" He waves to bring her within speaking distance. "Miss Baez, what you just did, how did you do that? You are something powerful. And that song, I've never heard the likes of it. Where did it come from, if I may be so bold?" Clemens is nearby, still wiping his eyes and nodding his head, unable to speak. Joan looks twice at him and blinks in disbelief. Am I on some kind of acid trip? What will happen to my baby? She stops and looks directly at Clemens. You are the spitting image of someone I've seen pictures of. She then turns to Disney. And your voice, it's so familiar. If my head is on straight, I'd have to say you sound just like Walt Disney before he died. I know from the times I spent listening to him and watching him on TV. How can this be real? And you? She looks at the swirling, costumed mist that is Epia. What am I seeing? The intoxicating marijuana stench has heightened her anxiety, coupled with the shock that what she is seeing is not a figment of her imagination. It begins to show on her face. She looks up as she hears a strong voice, clearly and distinctly, along with the others, scolding them. Walter, Elias Disney, Samuel Langhorne Clemens, and New Soul Epia, now you've gone and done it. The timeline you are in is nearly fractured. You must leave immediately. Say nothing. Grab one another and hold on for your lives. On my command as Gabriel, head archangel, be it so. Their three energies swirl and shimmer, moving upward, and Joan Baez watches helplessly. She mutters, Disney, Clemens, and Gabriel? An angel from above? Me? Oh my God in heaven, if I were ever an atheist, I'm definitely not now. She feels her child move within. Gabriel. I think it likes the sound of that. So if it's going to be a boy, which I think it might be, then what about Gabriel? In response, she feels an immediate kick from the growing personality inside. Tears well up and overflow with the understanding of the sign she just experienced. Darkness is all around, and the travelers are in some sort of void. No music, no sound, only their breathing. Gabriel's booming voice rings out, stimulating all their now raw nerve cells. What part of do not interfere with the timeline continuum do you not understand? Not a peep from anyone. Listless, they hang their heads in shame. Disney is distraught and utterly remorseful. Clemens is stoic. Epia is out of her league. She holds onto the crystal with both hands while trying to stop herself from shaking. Gabriel demands an answer. I repeat, what part of do not interfere with the timeline continuum do you not understand? Disney takes a deep breath and exhales slowly. Gabriel, I take responsibility for my misguided idealism and faux pas. What might I do to recalibrate or make amends for this? Gabriel comments in a loud, clear, clipped voice. Anyone else ready to comment? She shudders involuntarily. Epia, sorry for her part. It happened so fast. I'm not able to control a situation Crystal warned about. Am I to be punished? Are you sending me back before I can learn more? Mr. Clemens, not interfere with timeline this time. Clemens' head perks up. Now, I like the sound of that. Apology accepted, or humbly, that is. He lowers his head, trying to conceal the smirk crossing his pursed mouth. Gabriel's retort is interrupted by a distinct and deep rumbling. The unmistakable, almighty voice of God fills the void. From what I discern, yes, it is Walt who is at fault, not the other two this time. I do not keep track of particular entities, unless there is much at stake. And Walt, you are the highest priority. I am keeping up with every move you make and sound you utter. Do you get my drift? Oh, yes, sir, I most certainly do. He is trying not to pee his pants. The atmosphere is so highly charged. He crosses and uncrosses his legs, grimacing in anguish. The sudden discovery of his body needing to eliminate waste is new to him. The commanding voice continues. Walt, I see you are in mortal discomfort. That is nothing compared to any retribution I may or may not dish out or commence. But because you did own up to your ego-based misstep, you are now strictly on probationary status. Any other infraction will most likely exclude you from participating in any decisions about your potential next term on Earth. and the world may never know what might have been. This is cause and effect in action. Are we clear on this? Clemens pipes up. Sir, yes we are, and I, as Walt's mentor, do solemnly promise to be ever more watchful of his actions. And I, Epia, be more alert about timeline alterings. Good, it's settled then. Walt, you may resume your travels. Gabriel reassumes his authority and asks, where or when do you wish to explore next?